for women especially, sex is a full experience. It's a mental experience, it's a heart experience, and it's a physical experience. You can make her come in her heart and in her mind as well as you can in her pussy. Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlchase.com. Today I want to talk about how to have passionate romantic sex. A lot of my videos recommend that you have hard, rough sex, like BDSM kind of stuff, porn star sex. And you should be having that kind of sex. If you're not, if that's not even at least a little bit in your repertoire, you're kind of lacking imagination. There's not anything in porn that you can't do just because it's on video with two professionals. You can still have that kind of sex, and women really, really like it. Women are a lot more dirty and naughty and have fantasies that you might not realize because you haven't had an experience with it, but they do. All kinds of women from all walks of life, different cultures, different races, different languages, they all really enjoy it. All the time? No. Every single woman? I'd say yes, but let's give a 1% just to be logically accurate. However, it's not the only kind of sex you're having, and passionate romantic sex can lead up to it, and it's a good foreplay, and it's good in and of itself. So I want to go over that kind of sex and show you how it can be really sexy and really fulfilling. Because you're not always in the mood to just go to town. Sometimes you want to be a little bit romantic, and she's in the mood to be a little bit romantic. Now, how you start is very important. I always like to tell people that the seduction starts right from the first time you talk to her. If you're taking her home from a date, the seduction and foreplay starts when you meet or when you're texting before you even get there. That is foreplay. That is the flirtation, the dance, the game that is getting her excited. It's as you're walking home, it's once you're in the house, how you're looking at each other, how you're talking to each other. And then once you're having sex also, there is foreplay involved. You're not immediately going to shove it in. You're gonna be kissing, you're gonna be talking, you're gonna be caressing her, you're gonna take off her clothes, you're gonna kiss her neck, you're gonna look into her eyes. The foreplay is very, very important to get her into the mood. Because for women, sex, well, for everyone, but for women especially, sex is a full experience. It's a mental experience, it's a heart experience, and it's a physical experience. You can make her come in her heart and in her mind as well as you can in her pussy. And so take care to set that mood with your actions. Allow your tone of voice to start to drop and to get more slow. And you talk to her like this, and you're looking at her and you're kissing her gently. Give a little kiss, you pull back, you look into her eyes, you start kissing her neck, you start caressing her, you start undressing her. Give the full experience. Then once you're having sex, you can, of course, eat her out, lick her pussy very slowly, tease her. I have a video on how to eat her pussy in the description below if you want to check it out. And what changes it from the kind of eating pussy and fingering her, it's the slow, and you're looking at her and asking her, do you like that? Or just tell her, be like, I know you like that. You're getting more wet, I can taste it, it's really sexy. And then you get a blowjob and she's sucking your dick. Tell her, go slow, baby, go slow. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to taste every inch and really get her in the mood. And then once you actually start having sex, you can, before you enter, you can just look at her and ask her, do you want it? And she says yes. And you say, tell me you want it. I want it. Tell Poppy you want it. Poppy, I want it. You have some fun with it. Make it enjoyable. And then slowly stick it in. And then let her feel every inch, every centimeter, whether you're in Europe or America. I prefer inches. They just seem bigger, you know. You're going in and out. You don't even have to go in all the way. Just give her just the tip, you know? And then pull it out. You like that? Yes, I want more. Put a little more in, a little more out, a little more in, a little more out, and then put it in. You're gonna see this, and you're gonna be enjoying the mood as well. It can be very, very, very sexy. I like to go rough, but there are times to be passionate and romantic, especially after you had a very nice talk, very heart-to-heart talk. If it was more of a sensual seduction, this is gonna fit better. If it was more of an exciting and arousing seduction, then you wanna go a little bit harder. So you're going in and out, and as you're going in and out, you're being more gentle with your movements and more caressing, and you're giving her eye contact, and as you're going in and out, just a little smile will just creep on your face. Blow her a kiss, wink at her. You can maybe smile and laugh. You want to have fun, right? It's not super serious. You can reach over and start caressing her face. You can stick your thumb into her mouth and she starts to taste it. And then you can put your finger in her mouth and in and out, so it feels like she's getting fucked and sucking your dick at the same time. You can talk to her and tell her how beautiful her pussy is, how good it feels, how wet it is, how much you're enjoying it, and ask her, do you like Poppy's cock going in and out of you slowly? And see, that tone of voice is very, very important. And you're gonna see her just start to become alive. And it's gonna be very, very enticing. And so eye contact, kissing, caressing her face, stroking her hair. I mean, even you can lean in and start kissing her cheek. I really like, even when I'm going hard, I'll go super hard and I like to mix the sweet with the rough BDSM. Kiss her on the cheek slowly. You can kiss her on the neck. You can start licking her neck and run it up all the way here. You can joke and just kind of lick her face and she'll giggle and laugh. You can give her sweet, soft little kisses. You can kiss her on the nose, on the forehead. And then slowly you're gonna be ramping it up a little bit more and maybe start lightly tugging on her air. Well, you tug on her air by putting your hand around her throat, which you can do as well. So very gently, the rough is the hoo. This is the you can even just hold it there. Just the faintest touch of your hand around her neck. And you can just start touching and then maybe squeeze a little bit and give it just a soft squeeze. You can slowly pin her arms behind her head and then hold her hands with one hand and then start to caress her more. Start to caress her ass. You can reach around and start to touch her asshole. Even stick a finger inside. You can reach down and start stimulating her clitoris, if you want to be technical. Stimulating her clitoris. It's so nerdy. Yeah, and you're just slowly wiping the windshield, right? And you can even lick it. And the important part here is she's watching you. You can even just tell her, look at me, watch Poppy, watch Daddy. And you just slowly, as you're wiping her clit, going in and out. You want to check if she's looking at you, right? And that's really sexy. You really want to also enjoy her body. Look at her body, look at the curves of her body, and she's sexy. You find her very alluring. You want to show that with your eyes. You're checking her out, and then occasionally you can flick up your eyes. Right, keep it like that. Go back down. Baby, you're so beautiful. I love the way it looks to see my cock going in and out of you. Man, she's gonna be losing her mind. You can grab her head and pull her head up so that she can watch and be like, I want you to watch. And she's just gonna think from her perspective. She's watching as your hard dick is just going in and out of her. So it's very dominant still, but it's more of a caring, compassionate, empathetic, romantic type of sex. And women are gonna come possibly just as often with this kind of sex. Again, I do prefer the rough sex, and we're gonna get there in a second. But one instance in particular, one very beautiful experience. I was out at a bar one time and I was in a very relaxed mood. And so it set the mood for the sensual sex that we had. And I remember standing with some friends and I noticed this girl kind of hover around me. And I just looked over and I said, you look really classy with your wine glass. Because it was more of a, well, I guess it makes sense for a hipster bar for her to be drinking wine, but everyone else is drinking a beer and, mixed drink. She had a nice little, cute little wine glass with some white wine. And I pointed that out to differentiate her. It was something interesting. And she said, yeah, I'm always drinking wine, trying to be classy. I said, oh, that's cute. And started talking, got to know her. As we started talking more and more, it became very apparent that she was very much into me. And then at one point, I got kind of directly sexual. And she said, what did she say to me? She said something like, I'm not gonna go home with you or something like that. And I said, well, no pressure, darling. I definitely do want to fuck you. And I'd never been that direct up until that point. I was kind of hinting towards it. And I said, well, I definitely want to fuck you really hard. But, it's your choice and I want to make this romantic for you. And I want you to enjoy the experience. And her face is kind of like, oh, wow, you're really direct, but in a cool way. And that totally shifted the seduction. And I started saying, look, we'll keep hanging out and keep talking. And if at some point you decide you want to fuck me, tell me and I'll take you home and I'll fuck you. She's like, okay. And as the night progressed, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes passed, and She was really starting to look at me differently and be very close to me. And at some point, I'm just holding her close, and her friends are noticing, and her friends are talking to me. And I asked her 1 or 2 more times. I said, hey, I don't want to put any pressure, but like I said, if you want to go home, just let me know. And she's like, well, I'm starting to think about it more and more. And then at one point, she was really, really just like hugging on me. And I said, okay, it's time to go. I'd be like, look, I want to take you home. And she said, okay, let me talk to my friends. Talk to her friends. And she's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Took her home. We go into the bedroom, and she had expressed to me before that she had never really had a good sexual experience, and there might have been some trauma behind that. But most guys don't know how to fuck. And I wanted to give her a very nice experience. And I kind of realized instinctively that the rough sex wouldn't have worked yet. She wasn't open on that level. So I said to her, look, I'm gonna take care of you, and I want you to feel very beautiful. I took off her clothes, and I told her how beautiful her ass is. I love big asses. And that's why I'm Poppy. And she even expressed to me later on, she said, I've always been kind of insecure about my ass, and it was really nice for you to be so sweet about it. And took her clothes off, laid her down, started kissing her very sensually. And then I could tell she was tense. I could tell she was not uncomfortable with me, but uncomfortable with sexual experiences, because she has expressed to me earlier. So I said to her, look, I want you to feel very, very comfortable, and I want you to feel like I'm here to take care of you, and I'm here to pleasure you. You are the star of the night, you're my focus. And that really affected her. And I said, look, I want you to trust Poppy. She said, okay. And I said, I want to hear you say it. And she said, I trust you. I said, no. Tell Poppy you trust him. She said, okay, I trust you, Poppy. I lay her back, and I start fucking her very slowly. I can still tell that she's kind of tense. And I just lean down and I whisper in her ear. I said, relax, relax. In that tone of voice. I really wanted to, like a guided meditation almost. Relax, baby, I'm here. I'm taking care of you. Poppy's here. And she's like, okay. And slowly I could see her starting to get into it more. Her moans very sincerely started to amplify. And then I felt this rhythm going. Boom, boom, I'm kissing her. I'm telling her how beautiful she is, how good her pussy feels, how sexy she is. I'm caressing her, I'm looking at her, I'm kissing her very passionately. And then at some point, it was almost kind of very spontaneous. I didn't even see it coming. I was just going super slow, like this. And then at some point, I reached like halfway down, and I just felt this tensing. And she had it was a minor, but it felt like a very strong orgasm. And we had sex a few more times, and it became a little bit more passionate, a little bit more rough. Later on, I started pulling the BDSM stuff and throat fucking her and shit like that. But afterwards, she told me, she said that was the first time I've had a vaginal orgasm. And vaginal orgasms are very, very rare for women. Women can stimulate their clitoris and get a clitoral orgasm, but there's many different types of orgasms. There's the deep spot, the G spot, I think there's an O spot, and cervical orgasm. You have all these different spots in the vagina. It's a very complicated thing. But she told me it was the first vaginal orgasm that she had had, and I believed her because I could tell that she wasn't totally comfortable with sex because of her past experiences. And it was very rewarding to see that. And she'd even texted me after. She's like, hey, that totally changed the view of my sexuality. I feel so much more released and so much more liberated, and I really appreciate it. And it was a very, very touching experience. And so I was able to help that blossom within her because I took the time to be gentle and caring and romantic. And so I wanted to show you that side of sex that I have previously neglected, for the most part, because most guys are too soft with sex, and I want them to be harder and more rougher and caveman-y to bring that animal out of them. And I think it's a very necessary step. And once you reach that point, then you can go back and start doing the more sensual sex much more effectively, because you have this, it's almost like you're taming your beast. You're being gentle, right? Gentle is not soft. There's a distinction. Gentle is strong that chooses to be soft. Soft is just limp-wristed. Gentle is controlled power. And controlled power can sometimes have an even greater effect on people than overbearing power. So if you want to have some more sensual sex, some more passionate, romantic sex, if you're in that mood with the girl, or you feel like she's going to enjoy that more, if you just want to try it out, I very highly recommend this type of sex. Then, once you are having that sex, it's going to very easily transition into the rough sex. You're going slow, it's getting sensual, but then you feel her breath rising, and you can see that fire in her eyes, and really that animal is becoming alive. Then you just start going faster and faster, and then you're fucking growling and you're fucking slapping her and spitting on her, of course, you know, for obvious reasons. You need to escalate properly. You need to pay attention to how she's reacting, her body language, her words, etc. I get it. But yeah, written contract for every fucking little thing. And you know, just wait, honey. Let me grab the contract right here. It's electronic because you know I ran out of paper. You know, it's much more simple to just save a file. You know, point here if you're okay with this kind of sex. Okay, you know, let's be adults about this. You communicate on nonverbal levels. They'll pay attention to her and see if she's enjoying it, but then take it to that level. And I have videos how to have rough sex, and I'll put those in the description below if you then want to transition to it. And it's a very good start to start off sensual and passionate, especially because you can see where she's comfortable and where she's not. And it gets her more wet, right? And it allows the vagina to actually soften up and be able to take the pounding that you're gonna give her when you go full fucking beast. So yeah, that's how you have slow, passionate, romantic sex. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlshace.com. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Instagram, and have some fun.